Welcome to Territory Talk, presented by Rex-Cut Abrasives, where real salespeople have real sales conversations. I'm your host, Matt Desrosiers.
And I'm your co-host, Jonathan Costa.
And let's talk territory. Episode number 1. What is going on, everybody? We have a tremendous show lined up for you all. But before we get into it, before I introduce our very, very special guest, if you're watching, make sure you're subscribed to the Rex-Cut Abrasives YouTube channel. Smash that like button in the comments. That's what I'm going to do this week, Jonathan. Go ahead and tell us your favorite road story. Go drop your favorite road story in the comments right after this episode. And, of course, if you're listening, subscribe to Territory Talk wherever you listen to pods, and please rate and review. Now, let's get to the main event. Let's get to our guest here. Episode 1, Territory Talk. He is a sales and business development leader, a driver of revenue growth, the co-owner of Leads Easy Solutions. Everyone, give it up for Mr. Nick Kosta. Nick, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me, John, Maddie. Really appreciate it.
Of course, this is now the very first guest episode. We have framed up for 3 people. It's very, very exciting. So I'm going to ask the first question. We're going to get it started. But again, as we talk, this is a show about salespeople having real sales conversations, talking about what we do, how we do it, stories. It's some fun conversation at the old bar. But we're going to start with a serious question, because at the end of the day, you are a business owner, and we want to know, and our listeners want to know about it. So in a couple sentences, Mr. Costa, describe Leads Easy Solutions to our audience.
So Leads Easy Solutions is a full-service B2C digital marketing company. We build websites. We run digital ads, advertising, SEO, kind of you name it, we can do it. Again, really mainly in the B2C space.
So now I'm going to go ahead and shut down, because you have a marketing mind. You obviously have a marketing mind. I just blab too much. So I'm going to go ahead and power it down, and you guys take it over.
Sounds good.
Just kidding. Of course I can't shut it down. Of course I can't. But no, we're very, very happy to have you on here. Leads Easy Solutions is it's a new business that you've started relatively recently, right?
Yeah, about 15 to 16 months ago.
Right. So nice and fresh. Now we're in the B2B space.
Yep.
And we're W2 employees on the sales team here at Rex-Cut Abrasives. So a question I wanted to ask and follow up.
Sure.
You used to be in the corporate space, right? You used to be in the, as I call it, the rat race, right? W2 employees. So what are some of the biggest challenges and rewards you've noticed going from, that W2 type employee to now being the guy running the ship?
So let's start with the challenges. Biggest challenge is just not having that safety net. Everything's kind of on your shoulders, and when things go south, you don't have anybody else to blame. And if you're not, you really have to get up and be ready to have at it every morning. When I was working a salary jobs, it's like, if you play sports, you take a play off, kind of.
Yeah.
That's how it gets with sales. Sometimes, you've met your quota, you're not having the best day. Maybe you're having trouble with your wife or something. You guys got into a disagreement. You're just like,
take a play off.
Yeah, take a play off, man.
Have a breather.
Yeah, little breather. Can't do that when you're running your own business. And it's definitely raises the cortisol a little bit. There are moments of anxiety. There are moments when it's, making a sale is even more high pressure, because this is now, your lifeblood. It's not commission. It's not the gravy on top. And there are salespeople out there that work commission only, obviously. So a lot of respect to those folks as well. But it's, everything is kind of on my shoulders. My business partner, he's not a sales guy. He's really just, the back end operations guy. So his income relies on my ability to sell as well. So I would say those are, the biggest struggles. It's definitely a little bit more anxiety inducing. You got to, truly be able to rely on yourself and trust yourself, and just can't take days off, can't take plays off. The biggest reward, obviously, is when you do make a sale.
Yeah.
It's far more rewarding than selling a product for somebody else.
Yeah, it feels that much better.
And you get that much more money. It's all mine, right? You know, it's I'm not getting a commission. I'm getting 50% of whatever
right.
whatever the net revenue is that's the money in my pocket. It's also just the pride in having your own business, telling people you're a business owner, and just, you know, being able to have those interactions and just feel like you have, there's an air about it, I'll say, right? When you tell people you're a business owner, it's not the same as say I'm a salesperson, I work for this company. It's like there's a little bit of courage and bravery. I think the pride that people understand and you know, look at you a little bit differently when you're a business owner.
Right. Are you a one-man show besides your business partner, or?
Yeah, it's just me and my business partner. I do all the sales. I do some of the tech stuff. We don't have to really get into that. It's not what this podcast is about.
This is sales conversation.
He is strictly operations, and that's it. That's our team. As we scale, we're definitely going to be looking into hiring some people, and we've scaled pretty well so far, I would say. For we won't dive into the numbers too much, but we're about halfway where I'd like to be before we hire somebody.
Oh,
but
cool.
definitely, if we hire somebody, you know, as a business owner, the goal is to run the business, not to be the you know, client-facing salesperson.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's why you guys do what you do. There's obviously Rex-Cut has an owner and they pay you guys to do your job.
Right,
That's the level that I want to be at, is like, you know, someone that can employ other people, help out their community, and just kind of not sit back, but be in the driver's seat without having to do a lot of the sales legwork.
Do you think you'll miss it though? Because I know our president, he is a sales guy.
Yeah.
You know, he came up through the sales department, and you have conversations with, we have conversations with him every once in a while. He's like, man, I do miss being on the road. I miss being in front of the customers. Do you think you miss it? Because obviously entrepreneurship, you got to wear many hats.
Of course.
That's without saying, but there is a bit of comfort going back to, you know, the playbook of which made you successful in the past. So when you get that point, you think you'll miss it? I think I would.
Miss it. I don't know. I guess that's kind of a rear view thing. Like maybe in that moment.
We'll get to that bridge.
Yeah,
We'll
looking at like, you know, looking forward, I don't think so. I think I really enjoy the planning aspect of running a business and
the bigger picture.
Yeah, the bigger picture strategy. I love strategy. Like that's, you know, that's why I always wanted to own my own business. Sales, I wouldn't even say it was something, you know, I don't think there's that many young kids out there that are like, I want to be a salesman when I grow up, you know? Yeah. There are probably kids out there that want to own their own business, or, you know, but
now more than ever.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I do definitely respect salespeople a lot. I mean, I've learned a lot through sales, and as far as missing it though, maybe a little bit. I do like interacting with the clients, but I don't think I'll ever give that up. You know, just like I'm also, and I don't want to, you know, give away too much. Maybe you have questions about this further down the road. I'm not really like the hard sales guy. Never have been. You know, there's the salespeople that are, you know, the ABC, always be selling and
always be closing.
Yeah, always be closing.
Always
My
be
bad.
closing.
Always be.
You know, selling that starts with the C.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Yeah. I'm not that guy. Just to be candid, I'm like straight shooter. Not that, you know, obviously there are salespeople out there. We've all met the sales guys.
Oh yeah, the used car salesman.
Yes, the used car.
The bad stereotype.
They're always on. Like the switch is never off. For me, I'm just like, if our funnel is good, we're getting in front of the ideal customer profile. I'm just gonna give this person the information, shoot them straight, and just build that trust. For me, maybe we'll get into this later. That's the biggest piece of sales, is the relationship with the customer, building the trust. It's not about actually pushing the sale forward and getting people to like sign the proposal and really being pushy about it. I can't stand when people are like that. I'm now, as a business owner, I get those calls all the time too, like people trying to sign me. So that's, you know, I would say my sales style is really just, you know, building rapport and trust with the clients.
More honey than vinegar, right?
100%.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
this guy with the analogy.
I would say the culture of sales is shifting. You know, the prior generation, suit and tie, no matter what the industry, attack, snake oil salesman. That stereotype was built for a reason. And now, you know, the more you get into seminars and more you read books and more you get out in the field, you realize if you set the parameters, you set it straight, you be authentic and build trust relationships, you end up closing way more than you would, as opposed to just being in people's faces all the time. Of course, you got to follow up. That's part of the gig.
Yeah, of course.
But, you know, I agree with you. I think that the overall trend we're seeing in sales is to be more of that type than that ABC type I'm not gonna say scumbag, but I think we all
Yeah,
kinda
there's
know.
certainly, I feel like there's a generational shift
For sure.
of what used to be a little more aggressive and like super straight to the point. I think when you look back on generations like that, like the like boomers, and I forget what the other name of the other generation, the AXYZ, whatever.
They all
whatever it
have,
is
yeah.
now.
I've gotten lost. I
it's-
just learned recently I'm a millennial. I didn't even know.
It's definitely changed though.
Yeah.
I think I can piggyback on that idea a little bit, and I think it's just the methods with which we are generating interest are different, right? In our parents' day and age, whatever you want to call it, in their time doing what we would be doing, like a lot of those people have advanced in their careers. They're not lifetime salespeople necessarily, but if you were a salesperson in the '90s, the early 2000s, before there was really internet marketing had found its place, right? You were just doing cold calls, knocking on doors. Like that's how people got sales.
sure. Right.
You were just, it was just, you're taking a bunch of shots and you're just hoping that the dart hits the board.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nowadays we can really pre-qualify people and kind of set the table with what's called, I call it an ICP, but it's our ideal customer profile, right?
Right.
And that is done with good digital marketing campaigns, good inbound lead strategy. Like, there's, the advertising that you're putting out there, the marketing that you're putting out there, people are finding you on Google, the internet, they're already looking for a specific thing, right? There's a lot more of that. And I think that that's how sales has changed, is that people are now, again, the table's set, they're pre-qualified, they know what they're looking for. There's more inbound sales. And that's kind of the wave of the future is, make sure that your salespeople know the product, make sure they're professional, and make sure that, they're able to build that rapport, have good relationships with the people that are coming in and want to talk to you. And then obviously, that can't be everything. You got to do the hustle and bustle of being a sales guy, as we all know. But I think that's just why things have changed. Is the internet is helping all this information that's available. That Apple and Google are selling to all these companies.
Right. Yeah.
It's just helping pre-qualify people so that they're warmer leads when they get in the door.
Right. And you mentioned you brought up a word. Boomer. I do have a question. I'm going to hit him with a question because this is something that we had talked about pre-show, because it's supposed to be more of a relaxed conversation. Do you have any, I don't want to say funny because that sounds kind of like I'm being antagonistic. I don't want to say funny necessarily, but do you have any shareable stories selling to a quote unquote boomer? Because what you're providing is a service, as we all just kind of talked about, that wasn't around in the prior generation. So as someone trying to sell to everybody, give us a funny story talking to a boomer about SEO and Google ads and all that stuff.
I guess funny maybe to other people, sometimes frustrating to me.
All right. Yeah, no, there's a line.
And I don't want to generalize. I know that's not what you're trying to do when you say boomers, but there are savvy people that are in that age group.
Oh, of course,
for sure.
yeah,
They know
of
what they're
course.
doing, and it's always good to talk to sharp people. So I want to start there. But there are definitely the folks who have built their business on the tried and true method.
Yeah,
of,
right.
what we just talked about, the kind of the old school way of doing things.
And you can't fault them for that either.
No, you
It's
can't.
what worked.
And
It's what worked.
They're
Yeah.
successful people, and I have respect for all the people that I've worked with. I'll tell you about one guy that I worked with that just was in his, let's say his 70s. I don't want to say what he did for a living, but help people with their financial stuff. So just the interactions with this guy on email it's just hilarious how he really, I would send him information and have everything like very clearly noted. And like, for example, like if we're doing a Google ad and you want to know how much money am I spending on Google ads, and I screenshot him exactly what I see on Google, right? This shows the amount of money that you've spent, the number of leads you've got.
All the analytics. Yeah.
All the analytics. It's all broken down. It's very clear. I screenshot, I send it into him in an email, and I get an email back and he's like, Nick, why are you sending me internal documents? I'm trying to figure out what my ad spend with Google is. And I had called the guy and I'm like, hey, this is what I've sent to you is exactly what you asked me for. He's like, I can't see it. I'm like, well, it's in the email that I sent to you. He's like, I don't see any attachments. And the image was embedded into the email.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously customers like that require a little more hand holding, and that's the thing. So,
right.
But that's not, I will just say that is not necessarily a problem that is only within the boomer community.
Oh, really?
No, because I deal with a lot of again, guys I respect. We have friends that are in the industry that are home service guys, and it's just not their thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You spend your high school, you know, whatever it is, your early years, learning a trade and then apprenticing, and now you're running your own business. And while what you know how to do is you know how to, you know, lay pipe or you know, connect a generator or install a HVAC unit. You know what I mean? So these guys are and some of them too are savvy and they know their stuff. But a lot of these guys are just like, hey man, you know, I don't know anything about websites. I don't deal with email. People give me a phone call and like, that's how I deal with people. You know, they're not hip to all this accounting software.
Yeah, word of mouth is still very lucrative for the business they're in.
100%. We have a friend that has built an entire electrician business, makes really good money.
Right.
Stand-up guy, and his entire business is referral based, word of mouth.
For sure.
Much. So, I mean, so like I said, it's not just a boomer thing. Sometimes it just comes with, you know, how up to speed is anybody, you know?
Right. And I think I think it's important in sales or really in any career is like knowing what you don't know is equally as valuable as knowing what you do know.
Exactly.
And being able to rely on professionals like yourself or any other, you know, professional in any field to help, you know, guide you through that process.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, even with us too, like our dynamics of how we go about our sales techniques are so different.
Yeah.
Jonathan handles mostly the national accounts guys. So he's dealing with the people who know more about SEO than probably anybody that have a big internet footprint, and he's having
huge budgets, millions of dollars.
Yeah, so he's dealing with those types, and I am still utilizing a lot of door knocking IPPs on the road. So I'm probably more in the boomer category where you could rattle off your goods and services to me right now, and about 30 seconds in, I would look at John and goes, "What is he saying?"
I mean, hopefully the thing. All right, so. To be fair, maybe that's true, but as a salesperson, as the owner of the company, my goal is to be able to articulate that in a way that makes it make sense to a kindergartner or someone that, you know, to my parents. I have to make it make sense. My parents don't know anything about SEO. They couldn't tell you what I do for a living. They'll just say I run my own marketing company, and they have no idea what that entails. But I promise you, if they ever sat down with me, I could explain it to them in terms that they would be able to wrap their heads around within 5 minutes. So again, that goes back to just knowing your product. And that's, to me, I know you haven't asked this question. I think that's the most important part of sales. And all my sales jobs that I've been in is you cannot sell a product that you don't know. You can't get out there and promise the world. You can't, you know, and then not know anything about the product that you're selling. If you don't know, if you couldn't write you know, an encyclopedia volume on the product that you're selling, you probably should learn more about the product that you're selling, because otherwise people are not going to trust you if you don't have the knowledge. I mean, there's also a personality aspect to it, you know, just being able to get along with people and vibe and understand your different customers. But I would say product knowledge is such a huge, underestimated, under-taught part of being a salesperson.
Jonathan, in post, mark down where that was. Add that I asked him the question. Most important thing. We want to be professional here. No, that's a good thing you bring up, and it's just very interesting to hear this come from you, because, you know, talking to you about business, talking before the show, and all these things, we don't ever get into the weeds.
No.
It's very interesting to see. I also have a recommendation for you. When you do have enough to get an employee, you could always have like a translator, like a boomer translator. Like you could hire me part-time. I'll be a concierge to be like, yo, he's saying this picture's on the board. It's in the email, not in the computer. You know, Zoolander, he's like, But I want to actually flip the script here and kind of take things in the opposite direction.
All right.
We talked about the boomer thing, but now I want to talk about probably the most pressing topic in any business conversation: AI.
Okay.
So how is AI come into your business in terms of the actual services that you provide, but also just how you use AI as an entrepreneur?
So being in digital marketing, AI is kind of a huge part of what we do now. So there are aspects of AI in every little bit of what we're doing and what we're trying to provide, right? So when it comes to, I don't want to get into all the technical stuff, but most people have heard the term SEO. Most people have heard the term AI now. So really what's happening on Google, on ChatGPT, is when search is changing. So when I say search, is let's say if you needed a plumber or an electrician or something, your toilet's broken, the first thing that most people our age are going to do is they're going to hop on their phone, get on their, Safari, Google, whatever, and say, my toilet's broken. And then they're going to call the first plumber that they see or the first electrician, whatever the case may be. And that's how search has traditionally worked, right? Your website ranks. But now the way that it's changing is that AI is, now you're going to see the AI overview first on Google. You're going to see that your people are going to ChatGPT. So Google search they're losing a bunch of search volume to places, other AIs like Claude, ChatGPT. So you have to change how you're approaching search. You have to change how we do what we're doing has changed so much in the past 3 years that is almost night and day. We're optimizing for different things. We have to do, there's different calculations that have to be in place for us to get people to where we want them to be, where people are finding them on the internet when they're doing these searches. So it has to be all optimized for AI. So that, and this is everywhere now. So we run Google ads, we run Meta ads, and Google and Meta, each platform has its own proprietary AI, right? So this machine learning, there's different ways that you have to go in there and optimize, these different bits and pieces for this thing to be able to learn and get better at doing its job, essentially. So that's kind of how things have changed on that end of things and like the services that we provide. But as for how I use it, I mean, I couldn't tell you. I use it so much on a daily basis.
And yeah, we're all starting to, I think.
Yeah, it's just like, so it makes life so much easier. I will say I get somewhat disappointed in myself sometimes because like if I use it to write an email, I don't have time or whatever. I just, I want to figure out a polite way to get back to somebody and make sure that it's thoughtful without having to spend the 30 minutes writing a thoughtful email myself. I'll copy and paste it into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever and say, hey, can you just reply to this email for me? It'll write it up. I'll proofread it. I might adjust a couple things, but it takes me 5 minutes to do that rather than it does half an hour. So that's just one of the things. But as I said, I'm using this like, all the time. I'm interacting with different AIs, not just ChatGPT and Gemini, but the stuff behind the scenes that we're doing for SEO and the different utilizations that we have. Not only that, but we use it to generate, inbound leads for ourselves. And I just think any business that, can't rectify that AI is the way of the future at this point is just going to be so far behind everybody else. If you're not using it, you should be using it. If you don't know anything about it, you should learn more about it.
Yeah. It's funny. I learned something through our CRM, use HubSpot. They have a new thing. It's a beta program, but it's called AEO.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's literally AI SEO pretty much.
Yeah.
And you can plug in all your search term and your keywords and all the negative keywords that you want to make sure that your business is popping up in ChatGPT, in Gemini, in whatever Microsoft's is, I forget, or Google's is called.
Copilot, right?
But they're all listed and you can change the keyword and the negative keyword searches for everything. It's like a whole separate like SEO funnel.
Yeah. 100%. And AEO, there's companies out there that are charging B2B businesses like $10,000 a month for AEO, and GEO would be just Google engine optimization. But it's the same. It's all, if you're doing SEO the correct way now, you're kind of doing it for everything, because even though Google search has changed, there are still the folks who are used to that way of searching. There's people that still are looking for information in that way. So you have to optimize for all three. But I will say I use HubSpot as well. And what's funny about HubSpot is a lot of what I've been saying here and a lot of what I do is about inbound marketing. And that's really what they hung their hat on as a CRM. Was they had courses. I've taken the courses, and it was all about inbound marketing, utilizing your CRM, utilizing the tools that are available through HubSpot and their partners. And this isn't a promotion for HubSpot, by the way.
We do like HubSpot.
We do like HubSpot.
We like HubSpot.
But
sponsor us, HubSpot.
Yeah. But that's really how they grew, and that's why they're, I don't know how many billions of dollars HubSpot is worth now, but they're probably the biggest CRM out there. It's only them and a couple other competitors that the average salesperson even knows about. But it's they are typically just with the wave of the future, and that's why I think they've kind of stayed relevant, and I think they're going to continue to stay relevant.
Yeah, I'd agree.
AI, it's spoken about as a blanket statement, but there's so much nuance to it in terms of you just rattled off how many different platforms of AI, and I think I've landed on the quote unquote bro question that salesmen are going to say to what's your AI stack, bro? Do a little Claude, a little chat. What do you do? Oh, you do chat.
I mean, we
chat.
I'm not. I mean, we could actually get into the technical side. I know you're joking, but
No, what is your AI stack for
Oh,
real?
no,
What
all right,
is it?
yeah, no,
What's your
okay,
AI
so
stack?
the three that you really need as a digital marketing company are Google Gemini. I'm gonna say why too.
Can I guess why?
Yeah,
You say them and then I'll guess. Say the three.
Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude.
All right. So Gemini is for images.
Close, yeah.
Chat is for research.
Nah, maybe not.
And then I would say Claude is for optimization. That is where you go to like dump stuff in and it gives you the right
Coding
thing back.
and things like
Pretty
Coding
close.
things back.
Yeah, so Claude definitely is used for coding, and Claude is usually, I would say, right on the first go around. Like ChatGPT sometimes can be give
Yeah.
erroneous
I
information.
agree with that. I've had to get away from chat because of that a
So
little
you
bit.
have to you're gonna have to eyeball what it's telling you and do a little bit of your own research. I have found that with Claude, like 99% of the time when you prompt it, it's gonna give you the correct information on the first try. But coding, optimization, that sort of stuff, that's what Claude is for. When it comes to Gemini, Gemini is cool because you can upload a bunch of stuff into Gemini and it reads everything. It's really intuitive tool. I think that with time, Gemini is probably going to be the most user-friendly AI out there. Like you said, you can upload images, it can create images. I'm not the hugest fan of creating images through AI and video through AI. It's a necessity in some, just from like a time standpoint and budget standpoint for a lot of companies. Like if you want to do a podcast, a video like this setup, I don't know, costs how many thousands of dollars, right? Or if you want to do a professional, get some videography done, maybe a real estate agent, you want to get drones to take pictures, whatever. That stuff is very expensive, right? So for us to be able to just get a couple shots on your phone and then have AI dummy up something for, 1/10 of the budget is useful. But I don't want to digress too much here, but I heard a quote that I love about AI. I don't want AI to help me with my writing and my art so that I can do the laundry and do the dishes. I want AI to help me do the laundry and the dishes so that I have time to write and do my art, which I think is
I like that.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I think that's the right approach. There's always, like, even though AI has gotten really, really good, there's always a human element that's missing from AI videos that it doesn't quite hit the mark. But I digress a little bit too far there. The third one that I use is ChatGPT is just for really quick stuff, right? Like sending out emails, having it, fact checking certain things, different prompts. So that one's just, I have it on my phone, so it's really quick and easy to use. And then just looking up, your day-to-day stuff. Maybe I want to know who won, yesterday's World Cup soccer games.
Right.
I can check ChatGPT. It's usually pretty accurate. So that's really what I use it for, man.
I use ChatGPT when I'm on the road to find me the best, highest rated Planet Fitness in the area. So that's what I use it for.
I respect it.
Could you have guessed that?
I
Probably
can tell
not by
by how
looking at
swole
me.
you are.
No, that's not AI talk, but I think it's really interesting to bring it up in a way because you can throw it out there to the masses and people would go, AI is the same over here as it is over here, or you can get into the weeds and really kind of learn a thing about what it can provide you and how you use it. But I do want to throttle it back to sales.
Yeah,
I want
let's
to talk a
do
little
it.
more
Yeah.
about sales
Heck
because when it comes to your business and the services you provide, you talk about inbound leads, right?
Yep.
Getting things brought to you. So what are some of your strategies for filling your pipeline? Because Leads Easy Solutions, well, you help end users build their pipelines, but you got to service and fill your pipeline too. So how does the pipeline filler fill the pipeline? I guess what I'm asking.
So a couple things. It's like a multi-layered question there. One is like,
thank you. That's what I try
you
to
can
do.
be marketing. There's so many different pieces of marketing that can be happening at the same time and for different reasons. And obviously we know there's at least two different types of businesses, just in general. There's B2B and B2C, right? And as I said at the beginning of the pod, we really work with B2C clients and we're a B2B company. So the B2C marketing funnel is kind of a different marketing funnel than the B2B one, right? So what we do for clients is going to be totally different than what works for us or what might work for Rex-Cut because it's B2B. You guys are looking for other businesses. So the thing that fills our sales pipeline, a lot of the times it's referrals. A lot of the time I'm doing, some cold calling, but I really and truly believe that the best way to do it is, we work with another, I put my money where my mouth is, right? I'm a B2C marketing company. We work with a B2B marketing company that helps us fill our pipeline, and they do a great job. And they're using AI, and we speak the same jargon, right? So, you know, I am not an expert in what they do. I can admit that to myself.
Yeah.
I am not a great B2B marketer. Our company is not great at B2B marketing. We are excellent at B2C marketing. If you're an HVAC guy, if you're a tree service guy, if you're a chiropractor, if your end user is, you know, John Q Public, we can definitely help you out. But B2B, it's not my area of expertise. So I think that a lot of business owners, like we talked about earlier, you have to be aware of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like I know that I'm a sales guy. My business partner is the operations guy, and I trust him to do that. And I know that we're good at one thing, and that, you know, if we're a marketing company, we got to put our money where our mouth is, and we have to spend as much money on marketing as we would expect our customers to spend to fill that pipeline. That's how we do it.
I respect that. That's a really good point of view.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, you got to take a step back sometimes and just realize you don't know everything, and sometimes you don't want to throw good money after bad, trying to do what you're not great at.
And maybe down the road, as you scale, maybe you know, get that vertical. You have the B2B that feeds the B2C, the ABC and DYF and ABCs you said earlier. A lot of letters being thrown around in this pod. A lot of letters in this pod.
I don't want to throw around too many acronyms and too much jargon, but yeah, dude. I mean, I know you're just joking around, but I would love to be able to learn more about that. That's something I've been trying to learn more about, right? Because we're paying somebody to do it for us.
For sure.
So I also think that's an important part of being a business owner, and this is kind of, I guess, the general, underlying message of this whole podcast for me so far is you have to have product knowledge. You have to be able to learn. You have to be able to kind of look at yourself and say, I don't know everything. I can learn more. I can become a better salesperson by knowing more about this or that, or my end user's business, or how, you know, their end user interacts with the product that we're selling them. So, I mean, just, you know, be open-minded. Don't have that big of an ego, and just be willing to learn.
Yeah. Wear many hats, which is something that definitely, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for a place like Rex-Cut, we all have to do certain things that we weren't necessarily thinking we were going to do in a given day, because we want the success of our business to go forward. Jonathan, do you have anything questions to ask before I hit him with the last hard-hitting question of the day?
I know. I just like that we kind of hit on the point of knowing what you don't know. Like it's important to feel like grounded and rooted in that. So like to better not only yourself but your business. And I think that's really important, especially as a business owner. And when you work for another company, it's not. I mean, it's important.
Yeah, but that's more about doing your job, you know.
Yeah,
right. But owning your business, it's like, you got to rely on other people, you know, to build a team to help you move forward, right?
Yeah. I guess some food for thought now. Just maybe I'll ping pong this back to you guys. Is how do we apply that message to being a salesperson, right? Knowing what you don't know. How do we apply that into becoming a better salesperson? Is it just, you know, we do more reading? We try to learn from people that are more successful than us? Like, what's the message there? You know?
And I feel like the people that you're selling to respect when you tell them, like, hey, I'm not quite sure how to answer that question, but I can find out. So, you know, give me a day and I'm going to get back to you, and I'm going to be able to not, I don't want to say like lie, but not fib you and just be like, I'm going to get you the answer that you want. I can't give it to you now. People trust that.
Yeah,
I feel like trust ties into that a lot.
Yeah, and I think we've said the term now, knowing what you don't know, a few times. And I think that is kind of what it is. And just not allowing your ego to get in your way. In sales, you have to have the bravado. You have to have the confidence. You have to be able to speak to someone you've never met in your entire life. So there needs to be a little bit of that extrovert, even behind closed doors. If you're an introvert, when the lights is on, you got to perform.
Oh, yeah.
That's just true to form. But at the same time, you got to be able to at least be humble enough to know what you don't know, to ask questions, to listen to those who've done it. It's kind of a mix of everything. I know, you know, my sales journey, it's not super extensive. It's extensive. I would say I'm still pretty green. So you have to appreciate the moments you get to sit down with someone, or you have a colleague that you could talk to, bounce ideas off of, and just be a sponge and never stop learning, whether it be books, experiences, failures, all those things. At the end of the day, you just have to keep building. You're never the best salesman. You always have to keep striving.
Of course. And I just really quickly, I like what Jonathan said there about, and I've had this happen to me before, is when you don't have the answer to a question from, you know, a prospect or a lead or whatever, the best thing that you can say is, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Yeah. And I'm going to get back to you by this time.
Right.
And that's one thing that I learned Took me a while to learn, but one of my really good sales mentors that was a sales manager early on in my career told me that when you run across that, that's how you approach it every time. There's a professionalism to it, and there's, again, as John said, you're building trust with that. So be willing to admit it. Know what you don't know, and be willing to admit it, and be forthright with your prospects and your leads.
And trust, it's really that. Because if someone's going to buy something of you or subscribe to your service, they have to trust that, one, you know what you're talking about, you're going to do what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
And that you're going to give them the service and the respect that they demand. I think it all ties together.
Yeah.
Trust, respect, again, knowing what you don't know, lowering that ego, it all ties together into providing the customer what they want.
Correct.
And the older generation, this is something they did, I think, without trying, which was be human.
Yeah.
But as we talked about earlier, and as we've talked about in this entire episode, as we go forward, it becomes less and less human. It becomes more and more automated, more and more about the machines.
Yeah.
So if you tell someone, I don't know, but I'll find out, I'll go to bat for you, you come off as human.
Yeah.
You come off as someone that
bring
can
back
be
the
trusted.
3-martini lunch.
Bring back the 3-martini lunch. And I have one more question for you, and then we'll get you out of here. I know it's 4th of July
I'm
holiday.
having a
coming up.
blast. Keep them coming.
But so we're hoping now, as we build this brand, as the viewers stack up, we want a lot of the next generation to be a part of this. We want the younger guys that might be thinking about getting into sales to get into it, to get excited about it. So for the next generation of salespeople, what would be one thing, Nick Kosta, that they have to know that they did not and will not learn from a textbook or from a teacher?
The best piece of advice I ever got was by the same sales manager that I had, that the guy that I just spoke about a moment ago. Best piece of sales advice I ever got. There will be times where you have a client and the client is unhappy. It's out of your hands, right? With today, with the internet, people, going back and forth, getting argumentative, it's different than it used to be. So I think that there's a level of professionalism that maybe our generation has that the generation that younger than us, I don't know if they've had the appropriate training on that yet. All respect to the younger generation. I think that they're innovative, and I have a lot of respect for them as well. I think there's a level of professionalism that is being lost on that generation. And like I said, the most important piece of advice I ever got, when you have a customer that is unhappy and they send you an angry email, you get an angry phone call, you get an angry message, whatever the case may be, don't be reactive. Don't be unprofessional. All you have to say is, I understand and appreciate your concerns. What can we do to make this right? And you let them do the talking. And then you say, okay, I understand what it is you're looking for. Let me run this to my higher ups, and I'll tell you what we can do for you, because I want to make this right.
Listening to the customer. They have
absolutely.
They're going to be very direct with you and tell you, hey, this is what I need, and this is what's going to make me happy.
Yep.
And then you hit the mute button, you cuss them out, and then you unmute the button, and you come it back. So for someone that may be a little bit not familiar with, I don't want to use the terminology so loosely, but when the bullets are flying, not being able to keep their composure, what's your advice on how they can do that? What's something like they can, a mantra or a saying in their own head? Because the advice is great, but in practice, they might still feel a little rattled, maybe a little bit uneasy. What's something that they should be thinking to themselves, saying to themselves, that keeps them in that zone?
Honestly, my thing is, if I get really rattled, like, I get hammered in an email. So this is I'll give you a couple of different examples. If I get hammered in an email, I'm just going to go for a 10-minute walk. And then whatever, clear my mind. I don't think you need a mantra. I think that you just need a moment, right? Because most of the time, there's a phrase out there, don't let, 10 seconds ruin the rest of the 24 hours of your day. You know what I'm saying? So that email is never as bad as you think it is. It's the customer's upset. A lot of the times it's not as the business owner, sometimes it is my fault. So, we got there's no one else that they can go to. But as a salesperson, sometimes it's not your fault. It could be like fulfillment, delivery, whatever. Take a 10-minute walk, clear your head, calm down, get some water, and then sit back down with a clearer head and reread it and say, okay, now I'm ready to approach this with a clear mind, and I'm ready to be professional. Don't be reactive. Same thing. Sometimes you'll get a phone call and you'll just get hammered on the phone call, and you just, in that moment, I think the wise thing to do is just tell yourself, they're upset. I've been upset. I've been in their shoes.
Right.
I've been angry on the phone with customer service before. Like, they turn off your phone line or whatever. Who knows? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in their shoes and I've felt guilty about it afterwards. So think that when you're on the phone, like maybe after this person gets off the phone with me, they're gonna feel that feeling that I felt before. We're all human, right?
Mhm.
So I guess that's it. That's the mantra.
We're all human.
We're all human. We've all been
Yeah.
there. I've been in this guy's shoes. So if you're getting hammered on the phone, just say, sorry, I'm hearing you. Just give me a second and I'll call you back with the answers that you're looking for. But just remember, we've all been in their shoes. We're all human. I've been that guy on the other end of the phone.
Yeah.
So
I think we all have.
That's true. No questions asked. So, Nick, thank you so much for joining. Let our viewers know. Tell them where they can find Leads Easy Solutions, where they can find you if they need you, and if they're interested in your services, where can they can pick up on you.
yeah, my name's Nick Kosta. LeadsEasySolutions.com is our website. All of our services are listed there. We're pretty active on Facebook, doing some marketing of our own. Also on LinkedIn, Nick, N-I-C-K, last name Kosta. Feel free to message me on LinkedIn. And then we're also listed on Google. So Leads Easy Solutions, LLC. On Google, you can find our business phone number and website there as well.
And of course, if you're watching, subscribe to the Rex-Cut Abrasive YouTube channel. Smash that like button. And again, put in the comments, what's your favorite road story? And for our listeners, of course, subscribe to Territory Talk, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, do that, all that good stuff. Help your boys out. We're trying to climb the charts. And that's it, everybody.
Let's do it.
We'll see you
Thanks
next
for having
time.
me, guys.
Peace. John,
Thanks,
go shut
Nick.
that thing off.
Killed it, dude.
If you like what you just saw, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to be part of Territory Talk, please leave a comment. Let us know, what is your best sales story? It doesn't matter if it happened in the office, on the road, or at home. Let Jonathan and I know what your favorite, your most important, your craziest war sales story is. And whatever you do, please smash that like button and make sure you turn on your notifications so you'll know exactly when a new episode of Territory Talk drops. And last, but certainly not least, head on over to www.rexcut.com for all your premium surface solution needs.